ॐ दक्षिणस्य समारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणम् सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशववामन कृष्णपाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सद्यो जात शङ्कर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। शान्तिपाठ। ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्ट्वांसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। So we are almost coming to the end of the second section of the first Mundaka, where Apara Vidya is being explained in detail. And as we saw earlier, the Upanishad takes the Veda Purva or the Karma Kanda portions of the Veda as an example for Apara Vidya. Apara Vidya is what? Apara means inferior. What is the meaning of inferior? Does it mean that Veda Purva is inferior to Vedanta? No, it's not like that. What is the meaning of inferior is a particular branch or a stream of knowledge or whatever is told in that particular stream of knowledge is nothing but limited means to limited ends. Though the Veda Purva or Karma Kanda belongs to the Vedas, the Karma Kanda, whatever is taught or whatever is given in the Karma Kanda, is not something which is going to give a permanent release to the jiva from samsara. Moksha is not possible through Karma Kanda of the Vedas. Then what is possible? If the same Karma Kanda, whatever is given in the Karma Kanda, in the form of the rituals called as the karmas or the upasanas or the worship, what can happen is if they are followed properly, they may give us higher lokas of experience and better surroundings in the present life. And usually, these Veda Purva followers expect that after they die, they go to a higher loka. Maximum, a person following Karma Kanda very, very seriously, very properly, can reach Brahma Loka. We know what Brahma Loka is. We have studied it in the Bhagavad Gita also. We have studied that in Vivek Chudamani also. Brahma Loka is the highest realm or the field of experience among the higher lokas or the higher than the present earthly lokas of experience. Brahmaloka is where a karmi and an upasaka, those who have followed all the tenets of the Veda Purva, and who have followed upasana along with karma, not mere karma, but upasana also, if they have done it properly, and if they are yogis, and if they are able to direct their jiva at the time of death through the Sushumna Nadi, and able to go through the Shuklagati, then they reach the highest of the lokas, 14 lokas, called as Brahmaloka, which is the subtlest of the lokas, subtlest of the fields of experience, where that is after death, not now. So once you reach there, there also you are not sure that you are not going to come back again. We must remember Bhagwan Krishna's statement, Abrahma Bhuvana Lokaha Punaravartinaha Arjunaha. Arjuna, hey Arjuna, Punaravartinaha Arjuna. Hey Arjuna, all these from the Brahmaloka onwards, downwards. Every loka is a loka which comes back again and again. In the sense, the jiva comes back again and again into the cycles of birth and death. The time that this jiva is there in the higher lokas may be a long time. If a jiva reaches the Brahmaloka for following all the the rituals and the upasanas given in the Veda Purva, if he manages to reach, if or he or she manages to reach the Brahmaloka, then till the this particular creation ends and the next creation begins, the person will be there. It's a long holiday. But if the person does not get mukti there or moksha there, then this jiva has to come back again. The sanchita karmas are still waiting. The punyas that are done by this upasaka and a karmi and upasaka par excellence, the highest result is Brahmaloka. That's what the Veda Purva says. But it is not moksha. Brahmaloka also is within the realm of samsara. So, hey Arjuna, Abrahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartinaha. All these these lokas are going to come back. Therefore, if we are not doing the karmas and upasanas exactly as per the guidance of the Veda Purva, then what is the result that we get is uncertain. That is all that is being said here. Not that you should not follow the Veda Purva, not that you should not do the worships and the karmas and other things. One may definitely do it. There is absolutely no problem. But understand that the karma phala of all these karmas and upasanas are limited. They are anitya, they are ashashvata, and one has to come back again and again because once sanchita karmas are not neutralized, then what is that by which permanently all one's sanchita karmas are gone and one is completely freed from samsara here and now and also after death? That is moksha only. And that moksha is not a matter of doing anything. That moksha is a matter of understanding my reality. Understanding I am that consciousness, which is the Adhishtanam Brahma of entire universe. This understanding, where I understand I as the limitless Atma or consciousness, that is moksha. So Karma Kanda only asks a jiva to do certain things, either Kayika Karma, Vachika Karma, or Manasa Karma. But these karmas or upasanas, Manasa Karma is an upasana, these are not going to really help one to get completely free from samsara. What is needed is the knowledge which transforms. And what is this knowledge? This is the knowledge which is called as Paravidya or Brahmavidya or Atmavidya, where the Upanishads or the Vedanta comes and tells me, look, you are not what you think you are. You are that infinite consciousness which is the very adhishtanam of this entire universe. You are not the limited jiva that you think of. You are not the limited body, mind, sense complex upadhi you think of. The world is not the mere names and forms that you think are. There is something which is permanent and infinite, which is the very base or the very adhishtanam of you, the jiva, of all the other jivas, and also the entire universe. And this is the knowledge that is given by Paravidya, which is taught in the Upanishads. So here what is being said in the second, skanda of the first Mundaka is that Veda Purva or Karma Kanda certainly has its advantages. The most important advantage is not only fulfilling your three Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama, but also if these are done Nishkamataya, then these very karmas and upasanas prepare you for that ultimate paravidya. They prepare you with chitta shuddhi and chitta naishchalyam. This is what is being told here. So, in the first 6 verses, the Upanishad talked about the glory of Veda Purva as to what it can give one. From the 7th verse onwards, the limitations of Veda Purva, the limitations of Karma Kanda are being talked about. And we saw that the most important one we saw in the 7th mantra which we took last time is Plava Hyete Adhrida Yajna Rupaha. So all these rituals and karmas that are advised in the Veda Purva are very, very wobbly and uncertain karmas which give you uncertain results because these karmas involve a number of variables. So here he says any fire ritual, any big yajna involves 18 factors. The Yajamana, the one who is making a sankalpa for himself, the Patni, who is an integral part of conducting this yajna, and 16 ritviks or 16, the Vaidikas who actually conduct this yajna for you, for the Yajamana. So all this 16 plus 2, 18. That means plus there are so many other satellite or auxiliary karmas that have to be done in every big yajna. Therefore, the more the number of variables, the more the chances of doing something wrong, the more the chances are that you will not get the complete results of your karma. So he compares the Veda Purva karmas to a raft of wooden pieces which are very, very loosely tied together. Plava, plavahi ete adhridaha. All these karmas are like rafts who have been loosely composed of a few, pieces of wood put together, slabs of wood together. And then Ashtadasha, they are the 18 variables in this, and many people feel that this is the ultimate. There is no need for us to go to Vedanta at all. Purva Mimamsakas, who only believe in Veda Purva, they say that if we follow the Veda Purva, that is sufficient. There is no need for this jnanam at all. That is what the Purva Mimamsakas say. That is what is refuted by Vedanta. That yes, Veda Purva is the first step. It gives you what you want. It fulfills your dharma, artha, kama, purusharthas. However, they are limited. There is a limit to which you can enjoy the fruits or the phala of your karma. Ultimately, this is not going to give you freedom forever from samsara. At the most, Veda Purva can give you Chitta Shuddhi, Chitta Naishchalyam, and it can create a gate of Vairagya through which one can go to the Jnana Kanda. So, after that, we saw the 8th verse and the 9th verse, where we saw that those who are avidyaya mantare vartamanaha, those who are deeply steeped in ignorance, they don't see anything else other than Veda Purva. They say that whatever is given in the Veda Purva is complete. There is no need for us to do anything. Not only they are blind, they are ignorant, they are leading other people also to the same blindness. So it is like a blind person, an ignorant person leading another ignorant person. So then what is the next thing? In the 10th verse now, what does the Upanishad say? It says, इष्टापूर्तं मन्यमानावरिष्टं नान्यत् श्रेयो वेदयन्ते प्रमूढाः नाकस्य पृष्ठे ते सुकृते अनुभूत्वा इमं लोकं हीनतरं भाविषन्ति. So it says, Ishtapurta. Now the same Upanishad is talking about similar karmas done on the enjoyment of the Shruti and Smriti. Many people say that if we do the Ishta and Purta karmas, that is sufficient enough. Now, what are they? What is an Ishta karma? What is an Ishta? What is a Purta? That is what is being talked about here. Ishta Purtam. Ishtapurtam means what? Ishta means those rituals which are enjoined by the Shruti or the Vedas. So all the Vedic rituals which are enjoined by the Shruti, enjoined by the Vedas or Veda Purva, are called as the Ishta karmas. Then the Smritis, the secondary scriptures or the Smritis also ask us to do some of the karmas, like in Puranas, okay, in Bhagavad Gita, Puranas, and all those Smriti Granthas, some Smriti Granthas will ask a person to do certain rituals, certain things. See, like this, so many we are doing other than the Vedic rituals, we are doing so many other pujas and so many other rituals, so many other worships which are given in the Puranas, addressing various other deities. Okay, then they are called as those karmas which are given by the Shrutis are called as the Ishta karmas. Ishta karma is that. And then the Smritis which give them certain of the worships and certain of other things that need to be done, they are called as Purta karmas. What are these Purta karmas that the Smritis ask us to do? Maybe some worship of some deities in the form of a certain a kind of a worship. They are not in the form of rituals. Other thing is those activities which are going to be useful to the other living beings or other creatures. Like whatever we do in Manushya Yajna, whatever we do for, Bhuta Yajna, we said Pancha Mahayajnas, we have Manushya Yajna, Bhuta Yajna. That is doing something good for the other jivas, doing something good for the society, contributing to something for the good of the other beings. All these are called as Purta karmas. In the earlier days, they used to be in the form of digging wells, getting wells dug so that water was available for everybody, and building dharmshalas so that people who were traveling earlier, they did not have any means of transport, they used to go by walk from one place to the other. So to rest, for them to rest in the night, there would be some places which would be built so that people could rest, and there would be some places where food could be served. Food is served to people who are traveling from one place to the other. The other thing is building temples for worship in places where there are no temples, where people are willing to go and have a community based worship in the temples. So all these things, building these kind of things, pupa, tadaga, they used to call that, or all these temples, or something which is for the help of other people. Now also we see that many people in summer they keep water outside so that people who want, outside their homes, they can take water and drink. Food is distributed in times of crisis to our own people who are there, or helping a person, who is in dire straits to do something, giving some dana for education of somebody, distributing clothes, distributing food. All these are called as the Purta karmas, which also have a lot of punya. One can, accrue a lot of punya with that. But these karmas can get you punya, can get one punya maybe to have a better life here or to attain better lokas in future. But these karmas are not going to give anybody the moksha that one really desires. So if a person is a person who wants moksha, then he has to use Veda Purva or Karma Kanda as a stepping stone, prepare his mind and intellect for yogyata for the next step of Jnana Kanda or Upanishads, and he has to go to the Paravidya, to the Jnana Kanda. So he says here, the Upanishad Guru, Ishta Purtam Manyamana Varishtam. Many people say that I am doing Ishta Karmas as I am doing Agnihotra Karma, I am doing all Sandhya Vandana, I am doing whatever is asked by the Shruti. At the same time, Smarta Karmas also, Purta Karmas also, I am doing. I am living a very, very ethical life. What more do I need? There are many people now also who say that I don't need Vedanta. I don't need this knowledge at all because I'm an ethical person. I'm living an ethical life. I'm helping people around me, contributing to the society to whatever extent I can. Why do I need Vedanta? I don't need Vedanta. But many people say that. Many people they feel like that. But then that's not true because whatever they are doing may get them something, but what it gets them is very, very temporary and ashashvata, anitya. So he says here, the Guru says here, Ishtapurtam manyamana varishtam. Those who feel that Ishta karmas and Purta karmas are sufficient for me to gain moksha, they are people who are ignorant. In the next line, he says, Na anyat shreyo vedayante pramudhaha. These people are ignorant and they don't see that there is something else called as Shreyas, which is going to give me permanent release from this samsara. They consider Ishta karmas and Purta karmas to be the ultimate, which can give them everything. They are pramudhaha, they say. They are really crystallized mudhas or ignorant people. Even if they are told, they may not accept that. I am living a life of ethics. That is enough. Many people say that. I don't want anything else. I don't need to study any other scriptures. It's not necessary. Fine, that's okay. Na anyat shreyo vedayante. They don't see that there is something else, something higher, something more important, something that can completely release me from this samsara. There are other groups of people who say that I'm happy the way I am. I'm not interested in moksha. Fine, Ayushman Bhava. That's all. If you're not interested in moksha, if you feel that you're very happy here and you don't mind coming back again and again, that's fine. Vedanta is not forcing anybody to take up to Vedanta. But then here he says, Na anyat shreyo vedayante. These people who think that Ishta karmas and Purta karmas are sufficient, they do not see that there is something else which can really give me freedom that I am looking for. So, what happens to such people? Nakasya prishte tu sukrite anubhutva. Nakasya prishte. Naka means heavens or higher lokas or swarga loka. Nakasya prishte sukrute anubhutva. Going to the higher lokas like Swargaloka and experiencing the karma phala of the sukrita they have done. Sukrita means what? Well done, something good that is done. Sukrutam. After experiencing it, Nakasya prishte sukrutam anubhutva. Imam lokam hinataram va vishanti. Once that punya is over, because whatever I do, my karma, whatever I do is limited, it is not infinite. If I give danam to somebody to educate that person, say for the entire of his school or college, it's still limited what I'm doing. I may give some clothes to somebody, it's still limited. I may feed somebody for 10 years, it's still limited. So, whatever karma phala I get out of the limited karma is also limited. Yes, it will give me a temporary phala of, enjoying a very, very beautiful, probably higher loka where there is no dukkha, where I may enjoy a few years, or we don't know what is that cosmic time which works in those lokas in terms of whatever punya we have done here. We do not know that. But for a period of time, we will experience some kind of a sukha in the higher lokas without all these day to day problems that we have. We will be happy there. And then what happens? A time comes when this karma phala is exhausted and our prarabdha and our pre-sanchita karmas are waiting for us to go back to either the Manusha Loka or to the lower lokas. If Papa karmas from the Sanchita karma are going to fructify, waiting to fructify, we may go to Hinataram Lokam Va Vishanti, we may go to the lower lokas in the form of animals or plants or even still lower lokas, creatures. Or we may come back to the Manusha Loka. So Imam Lokam, this Manusha Loka, or Hinataram Va. It is said that when predominantly a jiva has gained punya, the jiva travels to the higher lokas. When predominantly the papa karmas are waiting, accrued papa karmas, one goes to the lower lokas. And when papa and punya are almost balanced or equal, then the person is born again in Manusha Loka. It may not be exactly equal, it is to some extent punya also, some extent papa also. That's why in humans also we see some people are suffering a lot, some people are considerably happy, some people are really very, very comfortable and happy. All that belongs to the proportion of the Papa Punya with which they are born. So now it is said that, therefore, even Ishta karma, Spurta karma, whatever it is, the results are temporary and they are not going to give you moksha. The limitations of this has been of Ishta Purta karmas are being talked about. Next, what happens? Now, a person who has to some extent understood this and who is withdrawing from active grahastha and entering into the intermediate stage between grahastha and sannyasashrama called as vanaprastha. That means a life of withdrawal. What is he supposed to do? What is his way of life? What is his lifestyle that he does? And if he is basically an upasaka and the one who has lived the life of dharma, doing all the karmas talked about by the Veda Purva as a grahastha, but withdraws into the forest or into a quieter place for the sake of upasana, karma becomes less, upasana becomes more. Karma or the activity level or whatever the karma or the rituals that are done, they become less and manasa karma becomes more. That is upasana, worship, mental, manasika karma, that is upasana. When that takes a priority and a person withdraws for the sake of this upasana as a preparatory stage for the next stage of sannyasa, such a person is called as a vanaprasthi. Vanaprasthi means the one who has, retreated to a vana, but it doesn't mean vana only. A person who has retreated from his active life, doesn't matter where he stays. He may stay in the same house, or he may stay in the surroundings which are conducive for upasana. Maybe earlier also, when forests were there, people used to probably go outside their own village to the nearest forest, surrounded by greenery, where they would not be disturbed by the problems of the home. So, vana does not mean that you should go in search of a vana only, in the sense not a forest only. Vanaprasthi means withdrawing from my activities which are active as a grahastha, and I spend more time on upasana, manasa karma, upasana, worship, meditation, saguna Ishvara upasana, meditation on my Ishta Devata or meditation on Ishvara as the Vishwarupa Ishvara. This kind of a meditation I spend my life on. In today's world, on today's parlance, how do you take it? That I try to withdraw to a quieter place. Like we have now senior citizens living facilities. What is happening there? They are not troubled by all the karmas they used to do earlier. They don't have to take care of their grandchildren. They don't have to be involved in the active decision making of the family, but they are free to live their own lives, involve themselves in more of meditation and upasana. Such things. This is what is called as a vanaprasthi or vanaprastha. So here in this verse, in the 11th verse, the Upanishad Guru talks about what happens to such a vanaprasthi who has reduced his karmas and who is giving more importance to upasana. So let us read that. Tapashraddheye hyupavasantyaranye शान्ता विद्वांसो भैक्षचर्यां चरन्तः सूर्यद्वारेण ते विरजाः प्रयान्ति यत्र अमृतः स पुरुषो ह्यव्ययात्मा. So what is said here? Tapah shraddhe yehi upavasanti aranye. Tapaha means whatever small karmas are there for even a vanaprasthi to be done. Shraddha here means the upasanas. Tapaha here means that of, whatever little. It's not as if the person is completely withdrawn from karma. Even vanaprasthi has a set of his own karmas which are subscribed or prescribed for the vanaprasthi. Therefore, tapaha means the karmas that a vanaprasthi does, which are definitely much lesser in severity than the grahastha. Shraddha means the upasanas that are asked to be done by a person who is a vanaprasthi. Tapaha shraddhe yehi upavasanti aranye. Aranye means any place which is quiet, which does not disturb this person, safe enough, secure enough, which is probably the place where one can spend all one's time in upasana. For people who are not having any responsibilities of the family in today's world, our own homes are our vanas. They are our vanaprastha. At a particular age, after that, you have reduced your karmas. You don't have to do all those things which you used to do earlier. So you are almost like a vanaprasthi. So tapashraddhehi ye upavasanti aranye. Upavasanti aranye, those who are in a quiet place. Shanta, vidvamso bhaikshcharyam charantaha. Shantaha. Shantaha means what? Those who have shama and dama. Those whose minds are quiet, shama and damanvitaha. Vidvamsaha, those who have understood and followed the Veda Purva earlier in the proper way. Vidvamsaha, those who have really understood whatever life they are living. Bhaikshyacharyam, Bhaikshyacharyam charantaha, subsisting on alms. It means subsisting on something very simple, because when you retire to the forest, then you don't have any method of cooking for yourself. So either you ask for alms and eat, or you depend or you exist on whatever is available in the forest resources for particular food. So what happens to them? Bhaikshyacharyam charantaha suryadvarena te virajaha prayanti. Virajaha means what? Those who have neutralized their papas. How? By doing all the karmas that were necessary to be done in Grahastha. Now also a minute amount of karmas that are necessarily to be done by a vanaprasthi. Predominantly upasanas that they are doing now. What have they made themselves? Virajaha. They have cleared their minds. Chitta Shuddhi. Chitta Naischalyam has happened. So those who are free from Papa. Free means relatively free. Nobody can be 100% free from papa. Those who have relatively cleared, relatively have chitta shuddhi, relatively have chitta nishalyam, relatively they have removed most of the gross layers of their papa. Such people, what happen? Through the Shukla Gati, they reach the Brahma Loka. We have seen what Shukla Gati is, correct? That there are two gatis that a jiva can take when a jiva is leaving the body. A jiva who has done the karmas and the upasanas properly as given in the Veda Purva, a person, a jiva who has led a proper lifestyle, and in the Vanaprastha who has done the upasanas necessary, such people who are yogis, who are shanta dantaha, shamadamanvitaha, suryadvarena, shuklagatya, through the shuklagati, via the shuklagati, prayanti, they travel. Where do they travel? Yatra amritaha sapurusho hi avyayatma. They go to Brahmaloka, which is also called as Hiranyagarbhaloka, which is the abode of Lord Brahma. We saw that Lord Brahma in the beginning, isn't it? The one who is the Vishwasya Karta, Bhuvanasya Bhokta. We saw that Bhuvanasya Gopta, Vishwasya Karta, Bhuvanasya Gopta. Brahma Devanam Pratama Sambhavuva. That Brahma, that Hiranyagarbha, called also as Hiranyagarbha, which is the abode of that Brahmaloka, this Upasaka reaches. And this Upasaka has the provision to get this knowledge in Brahmaloka. There, Lord Brahma will be your teacher. If you reach Brahmaloka by some, you know, of your hard work of karma and upasana, then you will have none other than Lord Brahma as your teacher, and you have a chance of getting free, which is called as Krama Mukti. If I don't get free there, if I don't attain moksha there, then I have to come back. So here what is talked about? Krama Mukti for an Upasaka is talked about here. What is said is that Veda Purva, with its karma and upasana for different stages of life, if done properly in every way, maximum it can lead us to is the Brahmaloka. And this Brahmaloka also, we have seen in the 8th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that, after the 100 years of Lord Brahma, Pralaya takes place. We know how many Chatur Yugas and all that, we discussed the time at that time. So, such a thing, when it happens, this person goes into pralaya, and such a person who has not attained moksha in Brahmaloka comes back again in the next creation. So, in the 11th verse, what is talked about is a person who withdraws from Grahastashrama and does mostly the upasanas prescribed by the Vedas, Veda Purva, such a person has an opportunity of reaching the highest of the lokas, Brahma Loka, where a possibility of Krama Mukti is there. If this Krama Mukti is not utilized, such a person can come back again in the next creation or the next Srishti and has to start all over again. So, what is an intelligent person supposed to do? That comes in the 12th mantra, which is the most important mantra of this particular section. So, what is said here? Parikshya lokan karmachitan brahmanaha निर्वेदमायाद् नास्ति अकृतः कृतेन तद्विज्ञानार्थं स गुरुमेवाभिगच्छेत् समित्पाणिः श्रोत्रियं ब्रह्मनिष्ठम्. So what is said here is an intelligent person. So a person who has understood the limitations of Veda Purva, who has understood the limitations of karma and upasana, and a person who really wants nothing less than moksha, A person who has decided, Purushartha Nishchaya has been done by this person, that what I want is nothing ultimately but the moksha. What does he do? What does such a person do? He is called a Brahmana here, who's a discriminative person. Brahmanaha karmachitan lokan parikshya. Brahmana here does not mean, the Varna, Brahmana, Varna. Brahmana here means a person who is discriminative enough. A person who has discriminated between what Veda Purva can give, what Veda Purva cannot give, and a person who is a discriminative person who understands the difference between Atma and Anatma. A person who has made the Purushartha Nishchaya of Moksha. Such a person is called as Brahmana. Now, what does he do? Karmachitan lokan parikshya. Lokan here means karma phala. Karmachitan lokan parikshya. With his buddhi, he tries to analyze what is the nature of the karma phala of all the karmas. Karma chitan phalan pariksha. So what phala, what maximum phala I can get out of all the karmas that I do. Karma chitan lokan, karma phalan pariksha. Analyzing, seeing the doshas of the karma phalas. That karma is something done, and whatever is accrued as karma phala goes according to the done karma. The karma phala is proportionate to the karma. No karma is unlimited. Every karma is limited. Therefore, proportionately, every karma phala is also limited. This is the meaning of Pariksha Lokan Karmachitan Brahmana. What does he do then? What happens to him? Nirvedamayat nasti akritah kritena. Moksha is akritaha. Moksha is not a result of doing anything. Moksha is a result of understanding my reality. Moksha is what I am. Aham Brahmasmi, that knowledge, clear understanding, samyak darshanam of my reality, the clear perception of what I am. Aham Brahmasmi. I am not the body mind sense complex. When I have understood this clearly, this understanding frees me. This understanding is not brought out of any karma. This understanding is brought out of knowledge. Supposing I want to study mathematics, what should I do? I mean, I can't, do the karma, any other karma. I should understand what that mathematics teacher is teaching. Then only I'll be free to use that and understand what it is. No amount of karmas are going to make me understand even a laukika knowledge. Similarly here, nasti akritah kritena. By kritam means by karma, I cannot get moksha because moksha is akritaha. Moksha is something which is not the result of karma. Moksha is the result of knowledge. Therefore, akritaha moksha cannot be got by kritaha karma. When I see this, nirvedamayat, this particular Brahmana gets what? He gets vairagya. That's what I said. Veda Purva, if a person thinks properly about Veda Purva after having gone through the Veda Purva and understands that all this is karma and whatever I do has limited results, but what I want is that limitless moksha, then this person develops a natural vairagya towards karma and upasana. This is what is called as Nirveda Maya. May this discriminative person, Brahmana, after having analyzed the doshas or the limitations of karma phala, may such a person develop a kind of a withdrawal or, vairagya towards the Veda Purva enjoined karmas and upasanas. This Veda Purva itself does. Karma Kanda itself creates a gate of vairagya by which this karma kandi can transit smoothly to Vedanta. Nirvedamayat nasti akritah krutena. What should he do for that? Tad vijnanartham sa gurumeva abhigachet. For that knowledge, such a vidwan, tad vijnanartham, for this knowledge, saha, this brahmanaha, the one who has done the purushartha nishaya of moksha, gurumeva abhikache. May he approach a guru. You may be a scholar in Veda Purva. You may be scholar in all kinds of rituals and upasanas. You may be a scholar in the language. Still then, for this knowledge of Vedanta, that which really makes you understand that you are that akrita moksha, you are yourself moksha swarupa, there is nothing to be got, there is nothing to be acquired. Here one has to understand one's own nature, that is moksha, and to understand that one has to go to a guru. Why? Because it's only a guru who knows how to convey this knowledge. The mere words of Vedanta will not be able to make any sense to us. We are seeing here only all these mantras we saw, we are seeing here that it is not possible by mere reading to understand what is the real meaning of what is said. Therefore, he says, Gurumeva abhigachet. What kind of a guru? Shrotriyam brahmanishtam gurum abhigachet. Shrotriyaha, the one who knows what this Brahman is, who knows what the scriptures are talking about, and who has got this knowledge from his Guru Paramparataya, from Sampradaya, from Guru Shishya Sampradaya, this person has got this knowledge and he knows how to communicate this knowledge, how to sort out the doubts of the listener, how to communicate this knowledge doubtlessly to the listener without creating any more confusion to whatever confusion this person already has got. Therefore, one must go to a Shrotriya Guru, a guru who has learnt this from his guru through sampradaya. Brahmanishtam. Brahmanishtam is the one who has absolute clarity about this Brahman. The one who has absolute clarity about what Vedanta is talking. So Shrotriyam means he is an expert or he understands. Shrotriyam is the one who is well versed in Vedanta, and that he has got through the parampara of Guru Shishya Parampara Sampradaya. Brahmanishtam means the one who has a clear idea, a clarity about what that Brahman is, which is being talked about by a person who abides in this understanding. Such a person is called as Brahmanishtam. And how does he go? He goes vidhivat. Vidhivat means how? Samit panihi. Carrying the dry twigs of Ashwatha tree, he goes to the Guru, indicating that I am willing to be of service to you. Shushrusha, Guru Shushrusha. I will be of service to you. At the same time, I am interested in Shushrusha, listening to what you are going to say. I will serve you. At the same time, I'm open to listening to what knowledge you give me. And symbolically, he carries the dry twigs of a Ashwatha tree to indicate that. It is also said that these dry twigs indicate that I am prepared. My intellect is sufficiently prepared with sufficient chitta shuddhi and chitta naichalyam, and it is my intellect is like a dry twig which is ready to be ignited by the sparks of knowledge which you are going to give me. So, Pariksha Lokan is a most important verse. So, this Brahmana, the person who is a discriminative person, sees the limitations of Veda Purva At the same time, he utilizes the Veda Purva for Chitta Shuddhi and Chitta Neshchalyam, and having done that and followed that, has developed sufficient Vairagya, and now he wants to go to the Jnana Kanda and approaches a guru for this knowledge. And what kind of a guru? A Shrotriya guru, a Sampradaya with guru, Brahma with guru, who himself has no doubt about the teaching. If the teacher only has the doubt about teaching, then it is not possible to convey. The one who clearly sees, the one who has the clarity of vision as to what he has learned from his guru, and equally clearly able to communicate it to the Shishya. And he goes in a very symbolic way, carrying the Shtotriyam Brahmanishtam Gurum Abhigachet Samit Panihi San, carrying this dry twigs. Then the last verse, which is actually we can call it as the continuation of this verse itself. And here the last verse of this section says, Tasmai savidvan upasannaya samyak prashanta chittaya shamanvitaya yenaksharam purusham veda satyam provacha tam tattvato brahma vidyam. So, what should the Guru do? He has to teach. The Guru has to teach. So, what does he say? Tasmai upasannaya samyak. Tasmai samyak upasannaya. To that Brahmana or that Mumukshu who has approached this Guru in a proper way, Savidvan, that Vidvan or that Guru, what should he do? He has to first see whether this person is capable of receiving this knowledge. So who is this? What this person has to be? Prashanta Chittaya Shamanvitaya. So we should take this. Tasmai Prashanta Chittaya Shamanvitaya Samyak Upasannaya. For such a person, for such a Brahmana, for such a person, Savidvan, this Vidvan, what should he do? Yena Aksharam Purusham Veda Satyam. This person has to give that Vidya by which this Purusha, Aksharam Purusha, Yena Aksharam Purusham Veda Satyam. He has to give this knowledge that describes, that tells him what is that Aksharam Brahma, what is that Purusha, that has to be told. That means what? He should teach this person Brahma Vidya. And it should tell or it should give this Vidya in the proper Sampradaya manner in which it is given, where the imperishable Aksharam Brahma is being talked about as none other than yourself. It's not just that there is something called as an Aksharam Brahma, that Aksharam Brahma is Attattayatadadresham Agrahyam Agotram Avarnam Tadapanipadam. No. That Aksharam Brahma is you. You, that consciousness, is that Aksharam Brahma. Iti Aksharam Purusham. Aksharam Brahma, that has to be given to him. Satyam Aksharam Brahma, that which is the truth, that which is the ultimate teaching of this Vedanta, has to be given in a proper methodical manner. How to give it? How methodically it should be given? All this he has learned from his Guru. He can't straight away start with Aham Brahmasmi or Tattvamasi. He has to start with Atma and Atma Viveka. He has to talk to him about the sadhanas. He has to talk about the Tvam Padartha, then the Tat Padartha. All those, there is a methodology of teaching which this person has learned from his Guru. Yena Aksharam Purusham Veda Satyam Provachatam. Tam Brahma Vidyam Provacha. That Brahma Vidya has to be given out. Tattvataha. It has to be talked about. Tattvataha. It has to be whatever is the reality, the Satyam of it. It has to be given to this particular wise person. It is the, not wise means the discriminative person. Now it is the duty of a teacher, he says, that when a properly prepared Shisha has come asking for this knowledge has to be given by the Guru. Wise teaching or giving this knowledge and giving it in a sampradaya is important, because if I have learned it and capable of giving it to somebody, if I don't give it, my knowledge stagnates. Teaching is the best way of keeping up to date, in the sense, if I have to talk this for 1 hour, I have to go through so much of preparation. That means what? It gives me an opportunity to listen, to study, to do mananam and nididhyasanam, and keep continuing to sort of, go through what I have learned. Similarly, every person who knows this and who knows how to communicate this, and who should not have doubts himself or herself. If you have your doubts yourself, then you can't communicate it. A person who has really clearly understood the teaching, got it properly from a particular sampradaya wise guru, and such a person has to give up the teaching, because it keeps the teaching going further. It gives life and life. It continues the life of Vedanta. And knowledge cannot stagnate. It has to be given. It has to be promoted. It has to go down. It has to flow. Therefore, the teacher has to give it to this next student, and the student becomes a teacher. And this sampradaya has to continue. So he has to Tattvataha, this limitless truth, Tattvataha, as it is, Tattvataha, the way it should be conveyed, as it is, without putting any of his own ideas into it. There's no question. There is no question of improvisation here. I can't put my own ideas. Maybe the words I use, the examples that I give, the way I put it may be different, but I cannot change the teaching. It should be tattvataha. It should be the way I have been taught. No innovativeness is possible here. And there is no question of being very creative in this. One cannot be creative in having new ideas and new thoughts. No. Brahman is something which has to be given in that particular manner. So tattvataha, as it is, that limitless satyam, aksharam satyam brahma, has to be given to the shishya. So with this, we have completed the first mundaka, the second section of the first mundaka. So iti prathama mundake dvitiya khandaha in Mundakopanishad. So we have 2 more mundakas and 4 more khandas, where we are going to deal only with Paravidya, only with Brahman, with Moksha. This is the only chapter, the only section which deals with Aparavidya, mainly to tell us about the advantages, the limitations of Aparavidya, which is in the form of the Veda Purva, and which should apply to all other forms of Aparavidya, and how this very Aparavidya itself is a path which leads me to the ultimate knowledge of Aham Brahmasmi. Om Nandantu Sadhaka Sarpe Vinashyantu Vidushakaha Avastha Shambhavi Mestu Prasannostu Guru Sada Sarve Bhavantu Sukinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukhamapnuyat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat.